I listened to 15 minutes of a jackass brain, and I was waiting to see if our video would get more numbers than his 235 at the height of his, whatever that sideshow of a slideshow was, 235 views. 295, I win. I happy. Because I watch Kamala upon her own sideshow today, and they couldn't even get the live video to work. If you can't run a live video that is just point, click, and push a button, come the man. Only wasting big people time. Truth of the matter is, we the people of Trinidad and Tobago have to face the reality and take the responsibility of where we are today. All the talk, somebody just send me a meme, I'm going to share it after. A man on a couch with a remote control and a bowl of popcorn. Say, watching PNM and UNC supporters fighting to see who more corrupt. Oh gosh, if all of we know that, if you are a supporter of a political organization that you know is corrupt, but you think is less corrupt than another corrupt organization, are you missing the point that both of their corruption, regardless of which is less corrupt or less worse, that both of them are robbing you? That dawned on you yet? Because this is the only nation that I've ever seen political supporters defend criminals, defend bandits. They claim them. There are PNM supporters who will defend Malcolm Jones in a conversation while UNC supporters defending Ish Galbaransing and Ish Churan and Malcolm Churan living nice, eating nice, enjoying their freaking self, traveling the world on your money. And you suffering, your drawers on its last leg, the elastic giveaway, you have a safety pin holding it on, and you defending it. Like somehow, Ish Churan calling you and sharing when they eating lobster done by Movino. Or like Malcolm Jones Churan calling to tell you come and drink with me when they're booking champagne in Aria. Well, Aria closed down now, that's Mapao. Where's the new one? Residence? I don't know, I can't keep track of where the bullshit artists go to bullshit one another. I'm not in that game anymore. But the truth of the matter is this, that while you defending it, your children have mud between their toes. And their children when Gucci and Louis Vuitton. I'm afraid to try and pronounce some of them things. Because you know, Kobo not supposed to eat sponge cake, you know, choke. But your children have mud between their toes. You catching your ass, you thinking, half of that, no, not that, not that, half a white oak, half a punching, or copybox, or a pack of saltfish for tomorrow. Which one, boy? And you juggling that in the Chinese grocery, and they're writing it down in the copybook, because you're owing from last week. And these people traveling the world, I hear them. I was in Cuba, I was in China, I was in London town. On your money. And we so blasted foolish and we so stupid. I hear Kid Rowley tonight say massa cow, massa bull, and watch me I nearly fall off this chair. You talking about massa cow and massa bull? You Kid Rowley, who intervene on behalf of developers in shorelands against the people who vote you into office to help developers build Renaissance towers in direct contravention of the law that governed development in that community. And when the people came to the MP as an organized community and thought that they were talking to somebody who was supposed to represent them, didn't know that you was representing the people that they was fighting against. And I hear, and I don't know, that you get one or two of them apartments, $10 million apartments, to add to the legacy. Equitos, I don't know. I don't know. I just telling you what is said to me. What the average person believes to be true. I met your family member in Westridge Villas when he came to change tenants in one of your apartments in a column in Burt development. In a development that have plenty questions to answer, Keith Rowley, but this is small potatoes. That's jokey thing, small potatoes. I try to turn on the air conditioner and the air conditioner is not working with me. Now it's working. Yeah? Trinidad and Tobago, forget them. Forget bullshit that is massa cow and massa bull, boy. Massa Cow and Massa Bull is Emil Elias, who is Rowley man of business, or Rowley is his man of business. I can't tell which. Emil Elias take $155 million and buy Massey Communications with TSTT money, but Massey Communications didn't actually exist and had nothing worth $155 million. And Emil Elias had the audacity, the brazen, bold-faced brass balls to tell the nation that he answers to nobody. I see somebody send somebody a message today, tell Philip, Lake Asphalt is a state company, so they don't have to, it's owned by the state, so they don't have to publish any accounts. And I told the person, respond to the person immediately, that the state is me. I am the state. All are we are the state. Our collective name is the state. We act through mayors. We function through councillors. We represent ourselves through members of parliament. We get the job done through ministers that we, the state, organize into something we call the government. The functional arm of the state that we, the state, put there to run our business. Are you understanding it yet? You getting it yet? Massa Cow, Massa Bull? You getting what I'm telling you yet? You is Massa. You have people that you hire to whip your field hands, whipping you. Somewhere along the way, we lost sight of how this thing's supposed to work. The government is not royalty. The government is your yard boy. The government is your maid. The government is your driver. The government is the person behind the counter that you paying a salary to go and get your documents for you. The government is your assistant. The government functions as a public servant to serve the public. The prime minister is just the top minister, but all the ministers have one job: serve you. Serve all of we, serve the state. I was on Keith Rowley's bullshit sideshow of a slideshow asking him to account. I'm not disrespecting, I am asking. And his little sycophants want to be playing and nipping at me. But I have no time for that. If you want to drown yourself celebrating your right to be wrong, brother, rock on with your bad self. I support that. I think the less stupid people we have, the better. Somebody calling on the radio show today to say we call people stupid. Listen, there are stupid people in Trinidad and Tobago. There are many stupid people in Trinidad and Tobago. There are people who think that they could defend in the face of a country burning to the ground. There are people who believe that they could still defend that bullshit, and somehow, in some magical way, it wouldn't affect them and their children. Like in some magical way, when dear mommy, you see there's find out, there's find out and there's call me, there's message me, there's WhatsApp me, there's text me, there's send me thing on Facebook, you're right, boy, you're right, I vex, I wrong, I'm sorry. Some of them just hide, some of them just block me, some of them don't want me to know, some of them just tell people I see posts that say don't let Philip know, because the same crowd that you're defending come back and bite you, and you don't want me to know. I have a partner, I tell you, he dying in the hospital. There's nothing I could do for him. He was a wealthy man. He spent his money when his father was sick. Father was dying, the father died, God rest his soul, and the father died, but he spent all of his money, and now that he's sick, now that he have the sickness, there is no money and nobody. And he is in the Port of Spain General Hospital. This man, my friend, who cost me raw to defend the PNM, cost me raw, cost me in front of people. And all I have for this man now is pure compassion because he's dying. And he lying down and he tell me, when visitors come and ask him if the smell of piss and bleach don't bother him, he said, when you're here long enough, you just get accustomed. Our next partner, he have one of those, I forget the name, one of those autoimmune diseases now. Staunch PNM. Find out, to his dismay, that public health and his insurance both conspire to make sure that he is entitled to nothing. And that there is nothing for him. There are people outside there who thinking that if the children hungry, is not Rowley to blame. Rowley have graphs and charts to tell you why 3 years in office. I asked him on the thread, and the sycophant's going to choke on those questions. If you are showing your people that you knew this was coming since 2014, and we are in 2019, Christ, Buddha, Muhammad, Allah, everybody, Jehovah, call them all the gods, the old and the new. Why have you done nothing to diversify the economy? I told you, I sent you a message. I told you, Keith Rowley, in your first month in office, but you stink and you're dirty like the rest of the PNM because you send Maxi Coffee to tell me that we can't work together. I can't help this government because I run against you in Diego Martin West in elections. Jackass, I wanted nothing from you. I told you that all of URP and CPEP should have been repurposed to a self-liquidating profit model. That URP and CPEP could have been repurposed as a jobs program, not to constantly endeavor to paint everything possible, not a Whitestone painting program, but to create and to train a workforce for the private sector. So you could have launched them. So people could have get a stipend, a start, but a training, because they will have a list of things. These people hiring, from security guard to construction to manufacture, and you could have created out of these people who dragging, they ass dragging, they living by prayers, bobbing and weaving, ducking and thieving. You could have helped them. You could have picked them up. I tired talk to you've left these people. They're fully grown children of the PNM, functions of the UNC too. Don't get me wrong. The UNC saw it coming and left it so. This was a nasty political game played between two nasty political parties that took the supporters and the voters, everyday citizens of this country, and ruined them. Ruined them out of political spite or for political expediency. You, Keith Rowley, your Goodwood Park and Valsayn handlers told you 30 years ago, you're sitting down in that parliament 32 years, they told you we need the people stupid. Don't get them bright. Put jackasses to run the Ministry of Education. Make sure the teachers are not motivated. Create an environment where learning is the last thing happening in a school. And that is what y'all did. Keep Christopher Mugabe, Sabga Rowley. I asked you, 32 years in the parliament, you there long enough to know, since the 80s, the entire world said, after the world economy crashed, after the global recession, the world said, the whole world said, diversify away from oil and gas. The vicissitudes and the vagaries of that industry can boom and bust your country. So Dubai and Saudi Arabia and all of the wealthy first world, Russia, China, the United States of America, everybody started treating energy as something to use and not something to build an economy on. But we continue to slave to an idea that you could borrow, Kamala borrow and put in the Heritage and Stabilization Fund. You come and meet it there, take it and spend it. Who is the bigger jackass? The Heritage and Stabilization Fund that's supposed to be there to ease the transition from when the price of oil and gas is no more. The king of Saudi Arabia, when this oil price dip started after the height of $100 oil, and he said, we don't care if oil reach $1. We don't care. Dubai has diversified so far into tourism and real estate. That Dubai don't care about oil at all is now a bother and a nuisance. We in Trinidad and Tobago did fat all. We played monkey politics with Manning, Pandey, Kamala and Rowley. The past 30 years have been 30 wasted years. The Chinese say the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The next best time is now. We knew 30 years ago. The journalists, the talking heads, the media, all those people, the opinion makers and opinion shakers that know and say and do fat all. We're supposed to diversify the economy. Job one. Diversify away from oil and gas. All of your economists, all of you, highly trained, UE educated, bullshit artists, trained to lie on people, to piss on their back with your degree and tell them that is rain falling. You were supposed to instruct the people to demand of the government that we set a target to move from 90% oil and gas to 75% to 50% to 25% to 10%. We were supposed to get to 33% within 20 years, and we could have done it because this country, just tourism alone, could have given us 5 times what oil and gas given us. And we've proven that. And you don't have to build nothing. You don't have to end up in a sandal scandal to build marinas and have 6 to 10 cruise ships docking every freaking week. And put 1 million tourists on the ground. And don't tell people that cruise ship tourists don't spend money. You're a liar. Because they will spend a fast $1,000 each. And that's $1 billion US. They will buy bullshit. They will buy trinkets. They're going back home in Bermuda shorts and Hawaiian shirts and straw hats and boy, coquille broom. Anything that you could sell them that they can't get home in the winter and the snow. They're buying that from you. They're taking home Lifebuoy and Milo and oh, they smell nice. They're taking too. And you know that. You damn well know that. But you see, a tourism sector is not as controlled as the energy sector, where all of Petrotrin and NGC money comes into 2 bank accounts. That you all could do it as you please. That you don't have to account to the people I asked again. I asked you on your thread. I will keep asking you, Keith Rowley. Where is our Pitch Lake money? You all are going to have to make a jail. Where is our Pitch Lake money? That is our Pitch Lake. Where is that money? Where does that money go? That Pitch Lake is supposed to be generating more revenue than oil and gas. Where is that money? Who is stealing our Pitch Lake? Who is stealing, Keith Rowley, the proceeds from the Pitch Lake? Who? Who? Who is doing that? Because pitch and tourism and a diversified manufacturing industrial sector could have given us, we could have created a duty-free zone opposite Morva, Bitam, Lavanton and Sealots in the Labas. Move the Labas. This is the only country in the world that I could think of that to drive from the airport to the capital city, you have to drive through the nation's dump, garbage dump. That is a perfect example and a metaphor for what is wrong with this country. The complete lack of vision or understanding that you shouldn't have to build berms and walls to hide the residents of Bitam because well-dressed Barack Obama was coming and they at least call him something else, but I was still you know, because always want to play, always get little antsy. Do you can't say that, Philip? You're not black enough. So no problem. Well-dressed Barack and friends was driving through, and for that 24 hours, you have to make sure that you have to hide Bitam residents. Spend taxpayer money on that. Beautification, they call it. You ain't beautifying nothing. All you do is you hide them. But let's get back to the point. Moving the Labas, moving the city dump, and creating a massive industrial, commercial, manufacturing zone that is heavily human resource dependent. Moving sidewalks over the Bitam 30 or 40 feet up in the air to bring the 150,000 unemployed people straight across the highway into a work environment. If you get Samsung and LG and Levi's and Google and all these people to set up industries, people don't know. Google have companies all around the world that just store data, that manage data. the amount of data they have to manage. But do you imagine that we created just basic, bring Caterpillar, bring Volvo, bring Ford, call Toyota, tell them, listen, we could build here for you door winding motors. We could build, just bring one thing. That's how they work. They set up factories around the world to build one item. And we could do that. And we could start and we could retool every time there's a new development, and we could grow with them like India did, their IT sector. And India grew from answering the phone for Lotus 123 and Microsoft to become the #1 IT country in the world, largest middle class of every country. 600 million middle class people out of what was formerly 30 years ago slums and ghetto. But we've never had a government with a vision or compassion for the people of this country. We've played Afro-Indian politics in this country and had those two groups of people fighting each other to see who will be the last to whine on the deck of a sinking ship. We voted jackasses into office. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, I want you to hear me. We will never work together. I saw you up close. You and your government are a band of bandits and thieves, and you are a jackass. You had every right opportunity to be the first woman prime minister of the country, to use the power of the special majority that you had to fix things. Instead, you went on a drunken spree and you allowed Anil Roberts and the rest of them to do the same. And you have to answer for SIS and life support and the wastewater treatment plant and Section 34. Keith Rowley's treasonous email gate doesn't make your treasonous Section 34 go away. All of this is treason. All of that is misbehavior in public office. All of you should be sitting in the DPP's office tonight. All of you. Rowley, you was there. You're partnering with Warner and Gypsy. You cuss Gypsy. You tell people Winston Gypsy Peters thief all the mattress, and when they find 100 mattress in Winston Gypsy Peters' house, PNM people say that and turn around and embrace him because he crossed from UNC and he's WEO now. Make him the head of the NCC. Drawing a salary. Nonsense politics. And the fools at the bottom clapping, celebrating their demise. Where do we go with that? Where do we go with that? How do we rescue this country when the stakeholders of the country would prefer shit to sugar? Where do we go? How do we go and tell somebody that it's open season on Philip Edward Alexander right now? Open season, them two parties. But listen, 2019 going to be an interesting year. But who jobless? And the anointed touch not God's anointed. We here to walk a path, to get the job done. Every single thing I say, even my haters and detractors have to admit the man talking sense. The man is talking true. It is real. Why haven't we ever had these conversations before? Why Keith? Why Kamala? Why Pandey? You want to bring Michaela and you're walking all through the country talking constitution reform, but you had electoral opportunity to reform the constitution. Why didn't you, when you was golfing your ass through Lawrence Dupre's bank account, why didn't you talk constitutional reform then? Why not then, Baz? But you're coming to bullshit people now because you can't talk sugar worker and Indian unity. So you have to give them some other bullshit, constitutional reform. And you have these corrupt and copy and paste, complicit media workers running and spreading this bullshit that we need constitutional reform. The only constitutional reform we need in this country, the #1 most important constitutional reform that we need is an amendment called recall that allows the public, the people who hired these members of parliament to do the job of firing them. There must be a consequence to failure to perform. Only in this country, there may be others, but I am speaking where I live. I cannot believe how impossible it is in this country for you to fire non-performing members of parliament. I can't believe it.
Change. Fly up with this change. UNC change up. Things rearrange up. This is things they get rid of fast. Let the past be the past. UNC brand new.
They're going and tell you.
This is things they humble down ramish.
That was Warner.
We have no more rubbish. But when
I look around, what I see.
Recycled politicians. I see kangaroos like a salmon from Logan, hopping from bandwagon to wagon. So they polish and shine, then fall back in line. But that cannot keep my mind. Jump high, jump low, whether sun or rain.
I ain't falling for that again. And you could keep the bullshit, Kamala. You could keep the bullshit to come and tell people that you're moving certain people, them can't run for government again because you know you're bringing them and you're putting them in the Senate. So it's the same faces now in new position. Bullshitting your people again. Kamala, tell the nation, is Shem Baldio Singh, and was he lawyer then? Slip out my mind. But is Shem Baldio Singh back and running your communication? Is he back and running your communication? Kamala, tell the UNC people who you have slaving in the vineyards, if Jagdeo Singh and Shem Baldio Singh not calling the shots in this new old UNC. Not my business, not massa, not my bull, not my cow. That bullshit is for UNC people to take. But we will keep our friends close and our enemies closer. We will be very clear on what you're doing. And we look forward to the opportunity to meet you inside, outside, all there. All the talking, plenty talk. You call Rowley to debate, call us to debate. We said publicly, y'all could have a sneak peek at the questions. We come in raw. We come in bare. Debate us. The truth of the matter in Trinidad and Tobago is y'all have lied to your followers, misled and deceived them for 56 years. The UNC came out of Club 88, that came out of NAR, that came out of an accommodation with the ONR and the DSC, and both the ONR and the DSC come out of the PNM. All you think, all you know what's going on, all you UNC people who think all you're independent and separate from the PNM, all your roots stink and dirty and red. It's like the Congress and the people walk all over town trying to pretend them and UNC, but it's UNC spit all you out and it's UNC swallow all you back like vomit. This country cannot continue to play any, mini, miny, more politics with these two corrupt and racially divisive political organizations. And I tell you this with firm conviction, that if we fail to seize the moment now, I want to tell you something, Massa bull, massa cow, bullshit aside, Rowley had to give you a two-night slideshow, because they're concerned and they're worried because the polls telling them the people want nothing to do with the PNM and the UNC. And all of a sudden, the Progressive Empowerment Party looking politically sexy. Rowley has to know the kind of people coming on board the PEP. You had to know. Kamala have to know the people that she lost, that are in the UNC, that waiting to stand up on a stage and say, it is time for real change. Read it on the bottom of the video here. Real change, not exchange. It is time for a government that comes to you and says, we will not only tell you the what, you know. We're not going to tell you just the what we're going to do, you know. We're telling you the when. We're telling you the where, the how. We're even telling you the why. You will have deadlines. You will have measurable metrics. This is not a manifesto for Imbert and Rowley to stand up on stage and stunt like two jackasses. This is a contract with the people of Trinidad and Tobago that says, when a man asked me this morning, how soon after elected to office you could fix the country? And I spoke for 15 minutes and told him everything that we intended to do, because they have multiples of things that happen together that are grouped. Parliamentary reform, campaign finance, recall, referendum, You need legislation to decriminalize marijuana. You need to expunge the records of the people who have been convicted, so that legislation has to be written. You have to vacate all pending marijuana matters, and you have to let people go. You have to grow marijuana and export it. But that's the small things. The big things is to rebuild the family, rebuild the community, decentralize government, and put government back in the hands of the people who own the country. And that's the purpose of the Progressive Empowerment Party. When we walk away from government, your chains have been removed. Your minds have been unshackled. You are in full control of your country. And any marauding misdirector, deflector, bullshit artists come along. Yes, privatize WASA. We're going to decentralize WASA into 41 versions of itself. Independent companies, each one responsible for sourcing their own water, storing, processing, distributing. There is so much that could be done. In the first 1 to 3 years, in the first 6 months, our borders will be secure. In the first 6 months, we will have internal affairs set up in the police service, cleaning up the police service. In the first 6 months, the army will become Homeland Security and work to end the drug trade in this country. Just tell us where the gang is. Just tell me that. Just tell me that. Tell us where they are. You want to be gang, you want to be violent, you want to be engaged in criminality in this country under a Progressive Empowerment Party government, we will scorch the earth where you stand. We will bring justice to all the people. We will bring safety and security. The well-being of the citizens include their safety and their security. We promise you 2 things: that people will cut off their wrought iron from their windows and their doors and throw it in the sea, and people in Canada and New York will line up in the snow to get a visa to come to Trinidad, and the whole of the Caribbean will lie and say all of them is Trini. You want to see a real country? Vote yourself a better version of the bullshit you've been having for the past 56 years. Vote a real political party. Vote for the Progressive Empowerment Party. There is not one issue that they could bring up that we won't debate. We have a solution to every problem. When I ask Keith Rowley on his thread, I'm asking him every single time, if your Attorney General admitted 2 years ago that we would save hundreds of millions of dollars from a wasteful, unnecessary prisoner transport contract if we built the courts in or near the jails, why haven't we done it? And why are we still moving traffic off the road for prisoners to go to and from the courts? Why? Why are we doing that? If you know that there are 30,000 illegal guns in the country, why haven't you secured the borders? If you saw the pictures of your Minister of National Security stepdaughter sitting on a mountain of cocaine, why haven't you stopped the drug trade in this 2x4 postage stamp rock in the sea? Keith Rowley, you come with your graphs and your pie charts to explain your failure. I am telling you tonight, the only thing the people wanted to hear from you is that I have instructed the President, Mr. Speaker, to disband the Parliament, to dissolve and call a general election in Trinidad and Tobago, because that is what the people need. And no, we don't need 30 and 40 ministers. Don't tell people you save $50 million because you have less ministers than Kamala. The country don't need more than 13 people in the cabinet. We have plenty ministries that make no sense. Communication should be not a ministry. Communication is a desk in the Prime Minister's office. Sports, tourism, those are departments. You have a Secretary of Tourism, a Secretary of Sport, Foreign Affairs, manage 5 ambassadors. Europe, Africa, Asia, United Nations, America. That's it. 5. Not 50. Spending hundreds of millions of dollars. The reality of our problem is that we've allowed these charlatans and fluff artists to give us so much bullshit to hold that we couldn't tell up from down. We've been having roti politics and bacchanal bullshit for so long that we've come to believe that that is how politics is expressed. It's not. What is important is what is important to you. Government is shaped. There's something called the political will that drives what government does, and that is determined by what the people dictate. Your drain, your road, your sidewalk, your roof, the value of your house, the crime in your community, the ability to get jobs, the ability to own a home, all of those things, the affordability of food, the difference between a living wage and a minimum wage, being able to safeguard and secure your family and your loved ones, to have proper functional education and first world healthcare, all of that will be determined by the people, and the government has no choice. And that's where we need to get to. And until we get to there, until we wake up as a nation and take back responsibility for Massa Bull and Massa Cow, until we realize that NGC and Petrotrin and Heritage and all this bullshit, National Insurance Property Development Company lent $41 million of my money to Tamnaktai and Apsara, I supposed to be eating roti free because that's my money. And I want you to understand, you are the state. And I want this government to account to the state and tell us what is happening with our pitch lake and our pitch lake money. Because until you can answer, I have to assume that it is something corrupt, something criminal, something that you need to hide. And Trinidad and Tobago, mobilize yourself. Don't take bullshit and chain up the contract mafia and the 1% mobilizing money for Kamla and Keith to come and lie to you and dance for you and stunt for you. Don't take bullshit. Don't buy golden calves in this season when we're still lost in the desert. It is time for you to vote yourself into the promised land. It is time for you to stand with a government that has a vision for you. Forget the wedding, plan for the marriage. It is time for you to stand with a government that has a vision for you 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 3 years down the road. You've elected people into office that reach into office just to get their blue lights, their tax-free fancy car, and to get drunk. That's all you got. That's all you got. Nothing of substance. Nothing of truth. You've had so much bullshit politics in this country. People get so frustrated. I'm watching people like Philip Franco and them, intelligent people, so frustrated with party politics, coming to sell you the bullshit of independence. Vote only for independence. Like when you have 41 independents in the House of Representatives, at some point, they don't have to organize themselves into a government, which is the same thing after the fact. But what is worse is you will have no idea as to what you're voting for. Because you could vote for 41 people with 41 different ideologies and collapse and gridlock the government. You need to have an idea, a manifesto, a plan, a roadmap. Yes, Westminster doesn't account for political parties, but Westminster was written at a time when they were inventing this out of whole cloth. That is an amendment that needs to be dealt with. But we need more political parties, not less. We need everybody to have representation in that house. They talk proportional representation as a way to get beyond the racial bogey. But if the people of Trinidad and Tobago put country first, you wouldn't need all of that bullshit. You wouldn't need all of that stunts. One man, one vote. That's all you need. And you vote for a government that has a vision and a plan, and you have the power to fire them if they don't do it. That's how it works. That's how democracy was intended to work. And that is how ours can work. Mobilize yourself. On Saturday the 19th at 6 p.m., 2 very big political earthquakes take place in this country. Be present for it. The first is the 2nd anniversary of the Progressive Empowerment Party. From here go forward, we will have to be recognized as a national political party. The second thing is that is the opening of our South Office regional hub. And it is going to precipitate the opening of our other regional hubs, East, North, Central, and Tobago. We are going to make sure that you have an opportunity to be represented in all 4 corners of Trinidad and Tobago. And we will bring issues to you so that you will be able to talk to people who are coming to you seeking your vote and ask them critical questions. What is your plan for this? What is your plan to take back Caroni land from all of the mocking pretenders and charlatans, financiers, 1%ers and contract mafia members who PNM and UNC governments have given acreages to? What is your plan for that? This Saturday at 2 p.m., we meet 19 Stanmore Avenue at PEP headquarters. Come and be a part of that. Come and write your name into history. Come and stand with a true Trinbagonian family. Come and get yourself politically represented in the best interests of this country. And if you want a better Trinidad and Tobago for yourself and for your children, there is a solution. What will you do if you get in the government and find a financially ruined government? I am assuming she means an empty treasury. I want to tell Trinidad and Tobago this. From the campaign, you will hear all the wrongs that we know that the PNM and the UNC have done. And in our first 100 days in office, we intend to engage in forensic auditing of all the ministries, all the state companies. We intend to find all the wrongdoers and begin the process of prosecuting and reclaiming what was taken from this country. But we are under no illusion. We know that we will have to creatively finance all the projects that we want to do and get those projects underway and put our people to work. Jobs for all is our first plan, our first policy to make sure that the people have recall legislation is the first item on our legislative agenda and the first act of a PEP-controlled parliament. And we will make sure to secure this nation, put our people to work and get them into their own homes. Yes, we know it is a mountain to climb, but we have climbing boots.
If it is that who you're voting, baby, on about. When you're voting, vote them out.
And yes, we are launching in San Fernando, the South Regional Hub. And on the 19th, book your space. Talk to Michelle Davis, talk to Shari Wilson, talk to Felicia Holder, talk to Shari Sunarayan, talk to Satish Ramsaran, talk to Tony Defoe. Get your space booked. It's going to be limited. Come and get your space. We're taking as many people as the place could hold. We're toasting our 2nd anniversary, declaring that office open, video recording the entire thing to be broadcast on national television and social media. We intend to bring this message of hope to the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and we will not be silenced. We will not be put off. We did not come this far to only come this far. We are committed to this course of action, and whenever they call a general election, your Progressive Empowerment Party will be represented on every ballot in all 41 constituencies. to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Teham Lawrence asked, what is our plan for the backlog in the courts? Let me just check and make sure that I pronounce that name correctly. Teham. Sorry, I've never seen that name before. But I'm trying to answer your question about the backlog in the courts. It is our intention to put, and I don't know if you've ever heard this before, the Progressive Empowerment advocates for a timer on a clock on every court case in the country. 3 years for civil matters, 5 years for criminal matters, with the judge having management control of the court case. And by law, any case that is not wrapped up and completed within the stipulated 3 years for civil matters and 5 years for criminal matters have to be thrown out. That is the fastest way to make sure that we get justice that don't run for 20 and 30 years. 3 years for civil matters, 5 years for criminal matters. And as soon as that legislation is ready and it is time to go forward, we plan to create a cold case system. Every case that exists from that day go back will be dealt with certain judges. We are going to deal with the judiciary to get this done, and every new case go forward will be dealt with these judges until all of the backlog is cleared up, and then everybody's available. Plus, they have things that you have to have, like a gun court and a drug court and a white-collar crime court. We need a night court, a petty court. People need to be able to access justice, and it shouldn't be so expensive or elusive.
If they are the reason why the economy goes round, when you're voting, put them on, put them on. If it is the passing laws that development can flow, when you're voting, put them on, put them on. If it is the building heights,
East, west, north, and south. If it's you,
put them in, put them on. Register and put them on. Totally, put them on. Stay finger and put them on. Rescue the country, put them on.
Atiba Alexander asked, what are the plans to deal with crime, especially as crime have just risen? First of all, Atiba, I love your last name. Secondly, our plan management is really social development management. It's called Honey and Vinegar. We plan to do massive social development intervention in the hotspots. All of our plans, policies, and programs bring people back to hope and opportunity and give them chances away from a life of criminality. We plan to make sure that there is enough jobs for everybody, and that anybody who has a job could own a home, and that the banks function in the service of the people, and that we bring the price of food down and make education functional and healthcare first world. And while all that's going on, and we give everybody a chance, those who want to move from net employee to net employer, we want to set up and make a functional small business development organization. All of these things we could share with you. There is more information on peptt.com. But regarding the crime situation, Gary Griffith is actually the Commissioner of Police, and he's the right man for the job. We plan to secure the nation's borders and stop the drug trade. And it is the trade in illegal marijuana that have all these gangs and drug blocks. That's what fueling them. And we're going to decriminalize marijuana and grow it in Trinidad and Tobago. So all that bullshit gonna done. When we secure the nation's borders and stop the flow of illegal guns, we're going to give police officers for 3 months $2,000 a gun to pick up all those guns and bring it in, and police officers can get themselves nice and fat and rich. We want to have a country where guns, illegal guns, don't exist, where the people who would have been wooed into a life of criminality would have hope and opportunity and attack it from both sides. peptrinbago@gmail.com is our primary email address. peptt.com is our website. Pep app, P-E-P-A-P-P, the Pep app. It exists. It's your app. It's free. Download it from any of the app stores. We have a YouTube channel. You have to search it. Maya Khan will share, I am sure, the address to the YouTube channel. 347-4PEP is the hotline. We meet at our PEP headquarters, 19 Stanmore Avenue. Every Saturday, we meet this Saturday at 2 o'clock. We are doing a walkabout in San Fernando. If you live in the Southland, if you would like to be part of the South South team. Reach out to Jamal Mohammed or Michelle Davis. You could message party organizer Shari Wilson and you could get involved in that. If you want to be part of any of the teams, we have a lot going on in the party. All teams fall under either communication, membership, mobilization, or money. And if you would like to be a donor, a financial contributor to the party, message Felicia Holder or Satish Ramsaran. They coordinate that. We have a PayPal account and we have a merchant account that you can make deposits to. Trinidad and Tobago, the party is being built for you, by you, from you. When you come to a meeting, you realize that every Progressive Empowerment Party meeting is the leadership answering to the people with an open mic. All of our policies are built on the strongest tenets of democracy. If you want a better Trinidad and Tobago, now is the time to come together. One people under one flag. We've built a bridge. There will never be a better time for us to erase the nonsense of racist, divisive voting that only benefits the corrupt contract mafia and the 1%. It is time to fix this country. You have a party of champions standing with you. This is the time for us to reclaim this country. After this, we may not have another. Thank all of you for joining us today. And for those of you who were with us this morning while we were on the radio, you could spread the word. I know there was some broadcast difficulties. We're back Wednesday, 9 to noon. You could spread the word on 104.7. Tony Defoe, Deputy Political Leader, he's co-host with me and a very strong wingman. That show is going from strength to strength. They say we get more callers on that show than any other radio show right now in Trinidad. I don't know. The show brand new. You will tell me. They say it's difficult to get through, so you had to start calling from the start. Look, the reality of the situation is we've dedicated ourselves to the situation. We have Christophe Samlal heading the youth arm. We have Keisha Lawrence heading the women's arm. We're building it up and building it out. They have places and spaces inside this party for anybody who want to get involved and help. And if you are one of those people, come and check us this Saturday at 2 p.m. 19 Stanmore Avenue. Until then, stay safe, Trinidad and Tobago.